rock fight between these two teams. Just what did it take for you guys to make sure that you were the ones on top tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was low scoring. I mean, we struggled to score early in the game, I thought. Gave up a lot of offensive rebounds. Luckily, they didn't punish us. You know, they didn't make a lot of shots early as well. So both teams kind of were quiet on that end of the floor. But I thought defensively we were really good. We made them make and take tough shots all night. Brunson got hot in that third, and I thought, you know, the guys did a really good job of coming back together, getting back to the game plan, showing him crowds and bodies, and once we did that, we made them play, you know, in smaller spaces, and we started getting stops. So that's what we needed to do tonight against a good team like that, and obviously it was, you know, back and forth down the stretch, but I thought, you know, some of our stuff down the stretch was good, some of it wasn't great, but you know, we'll learn from watch the film and keep getting better.
Can you tell us your perspective of that shot from Shai off that side out of bounds?
I mean, you know, that's our guy. I think everyone knows we're going to him for the game. Whether he has 2 points or 50 points, he's getting the ball, and we all trust him to make that play. And you know, he's a superstar in this league, and they're the type of plays, you know, he makes, and you know, we want the ball in his hands in that situation.
Mark said it was a similar cut that Aaron had in the Toronto game that got him a bucket on that same side out of bounds play. That just kind of like help kind of open things up for you on that play there? It
did. I mean, we obviously had a bunch of different options. You know, Dobb was the first one, Shai was the next one, Zay was the next one. So we had a bunch of different guys that were going to get looks, but I think, you know, Shai knows I'm trying to get him the ball in that situation, and you know, he broke open, and that's his spot. You know, we've seen him hit a bunch of game winners from that, you know, short corner area, and he loves having the ball in his hands in that situation, and we love him to have the ball in his hands in that situation.
Josh, you kind of talked about the defensive effort, and I just wonder about having the consistency of that despite shots not falling for you guys for a while, despite some things not going your way. How was it that you guys were able to just kind of keep sticking with that mentally?
Yeah, I mean, defense is easy to play when offense is going well, and I think the great teams, they play defense regardless of what's happening on the other side of the ball, and I thought tonight we did a really good job of that. Guys didn't get distracted by what was happening on the offensive side. You know, we had slippage on the defensive end at times, but I thought we did a really good job of getting back on track, sticking to the game plan. I thought rebounding hurt us a little bit, especially down the stretch. You know, they got some big ones, but for the most part, I thought defensively we were great. I don't know what the final score was, but they didn't score a whole lot. Neither did we. But that's kind of how these games against good teams go. You know, it's a slugfest, and we grinded it out. And you know, defense wins these type of games.
I don't even know who. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Josh, you were obviously one of the products of the rebuild per se to clinch a playoff spot now. Just what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, to think where we've come from, you know, 12 months ago, 24 months ago when I first got here, it's unbelievable. You know, I don't think. Well, I'm not going to say I don't think we thought we could get to this point, but there's probably a lot of the basketball world didn't think we'd be where we're at this quickly. But it's a credit to this organization. You know, the players, obviously we're the ones playing the game, but there's so many people that make things happen to make this team function the way it does, and you know, it doesn't happen without everybody. So, you know, obviously we've started. I've been a part of games where we've been blown out by 70. I've been a part, you know, games where we've won by 60. So I've seen both sides of it. It feels much better to be on this end of it, and the guys are happy we're rolling right now. But there's still, you know, 9-10 more games left. So close out the regular season, and see what happens from there.
Josh, I think you're 3 trips to the Garden for 3 triple doubles now. What about this place kind of brings out the best for you? Yeah,
I mean, it's you know, the most famous arena in the world. We get to come here one time a year, and it's a special place to play. And I mean, you know, the triple doubles happen or not, I just try to go out there, play the right way, play the game how it should be played, and those things kind of just happen. And yeah, it's a fun place to play. You know, when you see all the celebrities sitting courtside, the crowd's up and getting into it. It's a close game down the stretch. These are the type of games you want to be a part of and want to be in, and yeah, I just love playing here.
Probably hard to pick out one guy, but you know, your bench unit doubles up theirs in points, and it seemed like between J. Will and Kenrich and so many of these guys stepped up. What did you sense from that group?
Yeah, that was huge. You know, J. Will I thought he was great tonight. Both sides. K. Rich was great. Wiggs, Zay, Queso. You know, we had, and as I always say, we have a really deep team, and guys come in 1 through however many, you know, check into the game and make an impact. So it's a real luxury to have, and especially against a good team like that when they bring their second unit in. Our second unit, in my opinion, is as good as anybody in the league, and they showed that tonight. And when they can go toe to toe with team starting units, it just helps take our team to a new level.
And then Dub just seemed to be this consistent through line for you guys in terms of extreme efficiency scoring. What are you seeing from his ability to get to his spots and be able to knock down those shots?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously super talented. He loves those moments, down the stretch when the game's close, back and forth. He wants the ball in his hands and he wants to make plays. And Shai is very unselfish in those situations. He understands, who's got it going, and he has so much gravity, to him that he's happy to be a screener, a decoy, and that's such a luxury for our team when your best player is happy to see somebody else handle the ball down the stretch and makes our team function that much better. So Dub was special again tonight. He's been like that all year, and he's a superstar in the making.
Just to say what the intentions there and what you saw there.
Yeah, we ran that play a few times. We ran it last year in Portland, or when Portland was in town and we had a game winner. We usually script and the game plays, so we all know what's going on. And I tried to get Dub open. Obviously, Josh is a really good inbounder. And then if it didn't work, I had a position to seal and catch and try to make a shot.
Yeah, and just describe to me how you're feeling now after missing a few games. You rarely missed any games this year, and then obviously at times tonight there were times you're limping and stuff. Like, just walk me through the timeline of you coming back, if you felt you were ready, just everything you were thinking as you were out there.
Yeah, I felt like I was ready. If I didn't feel so, I wouldn't have went out there. Didn't have my best game, clearly. But yeah, I felt pretty good to start. It took me a little bit to get warm and get going, but I felt all right.
Yeah, and Mark was just sitting here talking about you guys clinching that playoff spot, and he was mentioning, all the invisible people, but especially, the team and the people who were here from the beginning. You were one of those people who were here from the beginning. Just, describe what's going through your head as we hear that you guys clinched the playoff spot, and just, all the emotions considering, the years you spent here.
Yeah, it feels good. Not really no big hoorah for me. This team has big goals, big aspirations, and it's one of the things that was on our list for sure, and for us to do so, it feels good. We don't feel like there's need to celebrate. We haven't really done anything yet. We just got to keep getting better and see where it takes us.
Shai, defensively, you guys just kept your heads down and stayed in this one. You held them to about 40% shooting. Brunson got his 30, but it took him a lot of shots to get there. What did you notice about the way that you guys just kind of sat down and tried to guard regardless of what was going on?
Yeah, we did what it took tonight. The group to start the second and the group to start the fourth was really good. I was almost like I shouldn't go back in the fourth quarter, how good they were. Yeah, team just, like you said, kept their heads down. Didn't matter what was going on, what the score was. Just played really good basketball and played together. And when we do so, we're pretty good.
Josh's ability to just score over smaller defenders, and he really put that on display in the second half.
Yeah.
How big of an impact did he have tonight in just keeping that scoreboard moving when you needed it?
Yeah, Josh was huge tonight. Was part of that group to start the fourth that got us back in the game and took the lead. But he's been amazing these past maybe, I don't know how many, but he's been playing amazing. The league kind of switched up how they've been guarding him, and he's figured it out and is taking full advantage of it. And he worked super hard, super smart kid. We knew it was going to come, but I'm just proud of him and happy for him to have the success he deserves.
Shai, what's it like out there on a play-to-play, read-to-read even basis with someone like Jalen being able to answer every time the Knicks went on a run, having 30 points tonight, having that wing creator kind of looming next to you?
Yeah, it's fun. He just keeps getting better, and I think it's a testament to his character and his work ethic. Super good kid, and all he wants to do is play basketball and get better, and because of it, he's reaping the benefits.
You mentioned your bigger goals for the season. So you passed Denver for the #1 seed with this win. What are some of the unique challenges of playing Denver on the road, at Denver with the altitude, and why is it so important for you to get home court advantage?
Defending champions, so they're going to be tough regardless of the altitude, but the altitude doesn't help for sure. And then everyone wants to play at home in their comfort zone in front of their fans. It's called home court advantage for a reason, and the most you can have it throughout the playoffs is definitely a plus.
You're obviously still a young player. This is obviously a young team, but you've had a bunch of success in moments like the one you had at the end of the game today over the past couple of years. And you guys are already seen as a team that is able to find ways to get things done in close games in situations like this. What does that say, do you think, about your group and in preparing for the playoffs, that you guys have shown time and again that when you are in close situations on the road against another high-quality team like this, you guys can find a way to make enough plays down the stretch to get wins?
Yeah, we don't use our age or lack of experience as an excuse for ourselves. And we think of ourselves as a veteran, experienced group. It might be a little bit delusional, but it helps us for sure. No matter what your age is, there's certain things you need to do to win a basketball game, especially late. And we just pinpoint those things and try to get it done. Now, we might have lapses, we might not always get it done. We always have the right intention, and because of it, we've been successful.
And what is it about those moments for you in particular? I think you hit double the amount of go-ahead shots of anybody in the league over the past couple of years in moments like the one today. Like, what do you like about those moments when you have the ball?
It's what you play for. Grew up watching guys make big shots. It's fun. It results in an immediate win, and that's what you play for. You play to win. But yeah, it's what you dream about as a kid in your driveway.
Jalen, that group to start the fourth, I mean, you had a very quick run to get right back into the game. Tell me about those moments and maybe the mentality that you felt like you guys had coming out of the timeout.
Defensive toughness was a big one. We got a lot of stops and held them to one shot. I think they lead the league in offensive rebounding, so to have that stretch where they weren't getting offensive rebounds and generating open shots, I think was big for us, and then we hit shots down the other end, so we did a good job with that.
There were so many different guys that made big plays. And of course, the Shai game when it was massive when he didn't have it going, but were there any other moments that you felt like were game changers in this one that set you up for that?
Oh, for sure. Josh hit a corner three. K. Rich hit a right wing three that Hartenstein loaded off of. I'm trying to think what else. Jay Will ended up getting a block on like kind of like a little like skirmish kind of in the thing on Hartenstein after he rotated. I thought we put together. I'm trying to think if they called the timeout. Queso hit a right wing three in transition after we had just gotten another big stop down there. So there's just a bunch of plays like that to kind of seal the deal with that that led to that point. It was definitely all 15 or how many people we played tonight. I think it was a really good team effort.
For those final couple minutes specifically, I mean, the rebound, the free throws, the final shot making, just what stood out most about those final few minutes?
I think we did a really good job at executing down the stretch. Obviously, you don't want to give up the rebounds that we gave to kind of give them looks. But I think just at the same time, we managed the clock really well. We basically gave them about a second left to shoot the ball, just with how we were able to manage and do that. We hit big shots. So I think that's it. But I think just our game awareness, stuff that we work on at practice that a lot of people don't see, I think we did a really good job. The play we ran at the end of the game, some that we've scripted a lot, so Coach really didn't even need to draw it up. But just stuff like that, like little stuff that nobody really sees us practice and stuff, I thought we did a really good job of.
And for you specifically, for most of that game, I mean, neither team was shooting well, but it felt like amid all that, like you were the only one knocking down shots for a while. Just what did you see out there, and maybe what you liked about the floor game for yourself, just for a lot of that stretch?
I think it was just being aggressive, understanding how teams have been guarding me recently. It's been a little bit of a change, so I'm just getting more and more comfortable with that. I think my team puts a lot of faith in me to make the right read and just play with them. So I didn't really want to force anything, but I was able to kind of get to my spots. And it's just one of those games, too, where my jump shot felt good the whole night, and was able to kind of get it going early and just kind of maintain the rest of the game.
What was your perspective of that final play?
Oh, the game winner. Yeah.
That last one right there.
Tough shot. We've seen him hit it. I mean, shot it, made it against Portland. I think there's one more I'm missing that he's made that probably the exact same shot. There's another game. Denver, another one on that left side. Yeah, left side. So I think it's tough. You know, he's obviously battling through the stuff with his quad too. You can kind of tell that he's like still kind of hobbling around. So to kind of come in there and just after really sitting a lot of the game, especially the second half, and come in and hit a shot like that is he's very good at basketball. So that was tough. But like I said, I think just going through that whole thing where we were able to not even really have to draw that play up and work on that in practice enough, it feels good to. It feels like we all made the shot at the same time just because we work on that so much and we executed it really well.
You were one of the guys that defended Brunson throughout the game, and obviously he's incredibly talented, but you just kind of made him work for his 30 tonight. What did it take mentally to stick with it defensively when a lot of stuff wasn't going your way throughout the night?
I think you're a really good player when you have to work for 30 the way he did. But yeah, he's a tough cover. He's one of the toughest covers in the NBA. I think it just comes down to competing. I think anytime you're guarding somebody, of his caliber, it's not really like one person. We had a bunch of different guys on him. Queso was guarding him. K. Rich, we tried to switch and throw different looks at him. So I think when you have all four of the people behind you kind of ready to help you if you make a mistake, and it gives you a lot more confidence to kind of just play him tough and get up there. But yeah, it's definitely a 5-man effort guarding somebody like that.
You moved ahead of Denver for the number 1 seed tonight with this win. What are some of the challenges of playing Denver on the road at Denver, and why is it important for your team to get home court advantage for the playoffs?
Well, the altitude is definitely an underrated one up there, going up there and not being able to kind of get your wind. They just won as well, so they have a good kind of 1 through 10 rotation that they play, and they move the ball really well, and they're just solid. They're just a veteran team that's really solid. They're big. They understand what they're good at, and they execute really well. So they're a really good team. And then obviously I think just home court for the playoffs is everything, because if it goes to Game 7, you would like to be at home for that, not on the road. So yeah.
Jalen, you talked about how you felt like everybody felt like they made that shot because of how often you've worked on those situations. You guys are obviously one of the younger teams in the league, despite the success you've had, and you've had a lot of success in those kind of moments late in games. I know obviously Shai's a big part of that, but what does it say about a young group like you guys that already, even at this point in your process, you're seen as a team that you get in a late and close situation on the road against another really good team, and it's not seen as a surprise you guys are able to find a way to win a game like that?
Yeah. I think last year and going into this year, we've just been in a lot of close games. I think those either can pull you apart as a team or bring you closer together, and I think we've kind of, with our team chemistry, let it bring us closer together. We trust each other to make the right plays, even if we don't, make the shot or come out with the win. I think it's just more about trust and trying to make the right play every time. I think we've been doing a really good job of that this year, and I think just credit to that is just being ready for those situations and then just being in them a lot. I think the more and more comfortable you are in those situations, it makes you better down the road for these playoff games, and a lot of these games are going to come down to one possession, so kind of take that with a grain of salt and just understand that each possession really matters. Trust them with the ball. It's basketball, and it's a game of who can adapt the best, and he's doing a really good job of understanding how teams are guarding him. I think he said progress isn't always linear, so sometimes you got to have some rain to grow. So I think he's starting to figure out how teams are going to guard him night in and night out. Go ahead and clip that quote too. Yeah. But I think just the more and more reps you have with how people are guarded, and obviously he's seeing some shots go in, which gives him confidence, and we're trying to tell him to shoot it every time, and we'll live with it. He's been doing a great job of that. It's not something that we didn't expect. We expect him to continue to play better and better, and I think he had like 19, 16, and 12 or something like that. So, yeah, he's looking he's looking good. But I think it's just confidence and kind of understanding what's going to happen night in, night out. So just being comfortable. Sounds like it's a wrap.
Mark, just the rebound, the free throws, the shot making, just everything within those final couple of minutes. Just what stood out to you about that close?
Well, I mean, obviously, both teams could have executed better. So it was an imperfect game, but great game. Great toughness down the stretch. I thought we made enough plays, but I thought the game was, the beginning of the fourth quarter. That group, really got us off to a great start, got ourselves right back in the game, and showed great toughness throughout the fourth to battle back into that one and take a lead and eventually win.
Yeah, and obviously, Shai steals the glory with that shot at the end. Just walk me through your intentions on that play and what you see executed.
Yeah, it's a similar look to the one Wiggins got the layup on against Toronto. So, Josh's inbounding gives you the opportunity to have multiple options on a play. So use Shai as a screener, try to spring a layup, for Dub. And if it's not there, it's going to get us a switch and able to get him to a spot. So I thought great execution by those guys, and the guys on the weak side, great, obviously, poised by Josh to make the pass. Great shot.
Yeah, and obviously the shot is what people remember, but it felt like a lot of today, there were times where Shai's limping or, walking gingerly. Just, I know you talked about, your discernment, the staff's discernment on whether he can play or not. You talked about him earlier today, like he was ready to go. Were there times today where you felt he maybe rushed himself back?
No, I didn't feel like that. I mean, it's a contusion. He's definitely got some discomfort, but we would never put him out there, anybody out there, if we thought that, it was in harm's way.
You talk about finding different ways to win games. This is just a low-scoring kind of rock fight for much of the game. What did you see that it took for these guys to really come out on top tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the first half was very much like that. Not a great shot-making night for either team. They really got it going in the third. We had a hard time, containing them, but we were able to stabilize the game a couple different times and keep it within striking distance, and then broke through in the fourth, start the fourth, like I said. So I thought we showed great toughness. We got great contributions, from a lot of different people in a lot of different parts of the game. That group, I mean, K-Rich and J. Will in the fourth quarter, those guys are monsters. Wiggins, great, team win, team effort.
What are you seeing from J-Dub offensively? It just seemed he was playing with so much confidence and kind of composure with every shot he took.
He was cruising. He's, obviously really developed into a three-level player, still makes all the right passes, has developed a really good blend for when to get to kind of his pull-up and get to spots and when he could just punch the gas and get to the front of the rim. I thought some of his drives tonight really put a lot of pressure on the defense, and so just continues to get better and better. Obviously had a huge night. It was great.
Mark, what does it mean for you guys to make the playoffs officially?
I
know you're obviously prepared to do that for a while. But.
Yeah, great accomplishment. Great accomplishment for the organization. There's a lot of invisible people whose fingerprints are on that have put a lot of work in. Our support staff, up and down the organization. No one deserves it more than our players. These guys have shown uncommon poise and toughness. A lot of them have been a part of this build, and have had, have tasted our own blood at different times and have just stuck with it. So I couldn't be happier for the team, for the organization. And now we've got to, continue to sharpen our blade down the stretch here and prepare ourselves.
And like you said, obviously it was a little bit of a chaotic end of the game for both teams, I would say. But you obviously have a super young team, and Shai is already seen as a guy who is sort of maybe not expected, but it's not a surprise when he comes up big in a moment like that.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about a young team and a young star like that it isn't really a surprise to people if you've got a guy that's seen as an elite closer in moments like that?
Yeah, I mean, he's never flinched. I mean, the first game I ever coached was at Charlotte, and we were up by like 13 with like 2 minutes to go, and we blew the lead. And I think they tied the game or took a lead, and he came down and just drilled a game winner like right off the bat. His first game that he kind of had the ball in his hands. So he's always kind of had it in him. It's got a contagious effect on the team for sure. His confidence, his poise. But we've also got some other dudes now that are in their own right. Really, really capable, really confident, really uncommon players. And it's not just Dub and Chet and the guys that it's up and down the roster. Everybody plays their role with a lot of swagger and confidence and aggression. And so obviously everybody deserves credit, but he's been the head of the snake.
And to your point on Jalen, obviously he was pretty tremendous throughout the game, especially when Shai was getting a little into it earlier on. What allowed him to get going the way he was able to?
Yeah, I mean, not the first time this year. I mean, he's had a lot of games like that, and it's coincidental because there's been a lot of games where Shai has had big nights, and then we've gone to Jalen to close down the stretch, and tonight it was kind of inverted because Jalen had a huge night, but just continues to get better. And the thing that's most impressive about him is just the fact that he continues to play as hard as he does and defend the way he does. I mean, he's a very complete player. There's nothing on the court he can't do, and I thought that was on display tonight.
Josh finished with a triple-double, but he's had the point assist double-double first. Just what does that say about the way he was able to impact the game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he was really, really good. He was a huge catalyst in that fourth quarter when we were climbing back in the game, and he had some big plays to help us take a lead there. He continues to compete defensively. I thought that was really, really impressive the other night against New Orleans, and it was impressive again tonight. So just continues to get better, play with more confidence, play inside of his game. And as good as he is with the driving, I think what he's doing with the passing, some of the finds he's had are huge, and so we need him.